The old man sat on a bench in the park. His name was Tae-ho Kim. Once he had been strong and tall. Now at 73 years old, his body was smaller, but his eyes were still sharp. He watched alien workers fixing the city across the river. It had been 25 years since the day that changed everything. 25 years since humans showed they would not be ruled. The aliens called Mechthar came without warning. Their huge ships blocked the sun as they landed near the city of Incheon. They built their main base there. They called it the Grand Barracks. The aliens had much better weapons and machines than humans did. Earth's armies tried to fight but lost in just a few weeks. "Grandpa, tell me about the war again," said Ji-woo. She was his 10-year-old granddaughter with bright eyes and many questions. Tae-ho smiled even though the memories hurt. "It was not really a war at first, little one. It was more like a beating. Then they made us work for them. And finally, we fought back. The Mechthar did not want to kill all humans. They wanted Earth's metals and water and needed humans to work. They built work camps and took people from their homes. The Grand Barracks was like a small city where their leaders lived and planned how to use Earth." Tae-ho had been a lieutenant. Then, he was part of South Korea's army that went into hiding. His leader was Colonel Sunwoo Park, who kept their group together when the government fell. "We hid in the mountains," Tae-ho told Ji-woo. "We watched the aliens and took their tools when we could. They thought we were weak and scared." The sun began to set, painting the sky orange and red. Ji-woo listened closely as her grandfather spoke. She had heard the story many times but always wanted to hear it again. "The aliens made a big mistake," Tae-ho continued. "They thought humans were stupid. They thought we could not learn or plan or work together. For 8 years, humans did what the aliens said. They worked in mines and fields. They built things for the Mechthar. But in secret, people like Tae-ho were learning. They studied the alien tools they stole. They made maps of alien bases. They found ways to talk to other human groups around the world without the aliens knowing." Colonel Park was very smart, Tae-ho said. "He knew we could not win with guns alone. We needed to know how the aliens' machines worked. The Mechthar had strange energy shields that stopped bullets and bombs. Their ships could fly without fuel. They had guns that fired light instead of metal. At first, these things seemed like magic to humans. But slowly, people began to understand them. The aliens took many smart humans to work for them," Tae-ho explained. "They took doctors and scientists and engineers, but they did not watch these people closely enough. One of these smart people was Dr. Ha-Yun Lee. Before the aliens came, she had studied tiny bits of energy called quantum particles. The Mechthar made her work on their power systems. This was their second big mistake. Ha-Yun saw how the alien shields worked. She sent secret messages to Colonel Park's group. Tae-ho was the one who met her in the dark, behind the work camp. To get these messages, she was so thin, Tae-ho told Ji-woo. They did not feed the workers enough, but her mind was still strong. Tae-ho looked across the river at the new building standing where alien towers once stood. He remembered how the Mechthar buildings looked. Tall black metal walls, strange green lights, guards with 4 arms carrying light guns. "Did you hate them, Grandpa?" Ji-woo asked. Tae-ho thought for a moment. "Yes, but I was also a soldier. Hate does not win fights. Planning and waiting for the right time wins fights." The right time was coming. Ha-Yun had found something important about the aliens' power. All their bases on Earth were connected. The main power came from the Grand Barracks. If that power stopped, all alien bases would lose power. "Colonel Park had people working all over the world," Tae-ho said. "Some worked in alien food places, some cleaned alien rooms, some fixed alien machines. All of them watched and listened and remembered what they saw. One worker named Jun-ho was able to steal maps of the Grand Barracks. He hid the maps in his shoe and walked right out of the base. He gave the maps to Yoon-gi, who worked with Colonel Park. These maps showed where the main power center was." "The aliens got lazy," Tae-ho said with a small smile. "They thought they had won. They stopped looking for humans with weapons. This was their third big mistake. Under mountains and in old tunnels, humans were making new weapons. They took broken alien guns and fixed them. They made bombs that could hurt the aliens. They trained soldiers to fight in new ways. Colonel Park called me to his room one night, Tejo said. He showed me the maps of the Grand Barracks. He said we needed a small team to go inside and break the main power. Tejo knew this would be very dangerous. The Grand Barracks had thousands of alien soldiers. The power center would be deep inside and well guarded. Did you say no? Jiwoo asked. A soldier does not say no, Tejo replied. But I asked many questions. How would we get in? How would we break the power? How would we get out? The answers came from 3 people. Ha-Yun had made a small machine that could break the alien power. Junho knew a way into the base through waste pipes. And Yoongi had found alien clothes and passes that could help them move inside. I needed 5 people to come with me, Tejo said. I needed them to be brave and smart and fast. When he asked for 5 people, 50 came forward. Everyone wanted to fight, everyone wanted to help. This was something the aliens never understood about humans. When things are worst, humans come together. Taeho picked his team. Minho, who could speak some alien words, Doyoon, who was very strong, Jaehwa, who could fix anything, Hyunki, who could shoot very well, and Sumin, who knew about machines. We trained for 1 month, Taeho told Jiwoo. We learned the maps. We practiced using the alien clothes and passes. We learned how Ha-Yun's machine worked. The date was set June 17th. Now the world calls it Freedom Day. But then it was just the day that might change everything, or might be the day they all died. Were you scared? Jiwoo asked. Yes, Taeho said honestly. But sometimes being brave means doing something even when you are scared. As the sun set fully and darkness came, Taeho stood up. That is enough story for today. Tomorrow I will tell you about going inside the alien base. Jiwoo took his hand as they walked home. Above them, stars began to appear in the night sky. Somewhere up there, the Mechthar were still traveling in space. But they never came back to Earth. They learned that humans were not easy to beat. And it all started with hope, a secret plan, and 6 brave people who were willing to risk everything. The next day, Taeho took Jiwoo for a walk along the river. The water was clean now. Fish swam in it again. Before the aliens left, the river had been dark and smelly from their factories. Tell me more about the story, Grandpa, Jiwoo said, as they walked. You said a woman named Ha-Un found something important. Taeho nodded. Ha-Un Lee was very smart. Before the aliens came, she worked at a big school where she studied tiny bits of energy. Things so small you cannot see them. When the aliens took over, they needed smart humans to help run their machines. They did not understand Earth well enough to do everything alone. Ha-Yun was taken to work in the Grand Barracks power room. The aliens thought we were too simple to understand their science, Taeho explained. That was their biggest mistake. Ha-Un was told to watch dials and press buttons. The aliens did not explain what the machines did, but Ha-Un was good at watching and thinking. Day after day, she learned about the alien power system. She saw that all their power came from one big ball of light, Taeho said. It was like a small sun inside their base. The aliens called it the quantum core. Ha-Yun noticed something strange about this power ball. Sometimes it changed color when certain earth metals were near it. The aliens kept these metals away from the core. Ha-Yun wondered why. One night, while cleaning, she dropped a small tool near the core. The tool had earth metal in it. The power ball flickered and turned purple for a moment. Alarms rang out. The aliens ran around checking things. This gave Ha-Yun an idea, Taeho said. She thought the earth metal might hurt their power ball. Jiwoo stopped to throw a small stone in the river. How did she tell your group about it? She was very careful, Taeho replied. She wrote notes on tiny pieces of paper and hid them in her clothes. A man named Jin Woo, who brought food to the workers, would take these notes to us. Ha-Yun's notes reached Colonel Park. He gave them to the smartest people in the resistance. They began testing her ideas with small pieces of alien technology they had stolen. We found out she was right, Taeho said. Earth metals mixed in a special way could stop alien machines from working. The river path took them to a small food shop. They sat at a table outside and ordered noodles. While they waited, Taeho continued his story. After 6 months of work, Ha-Un designed a small device, he said. It was not bigger than your hand, but it had special earth metals inside that would hurt the Powerball. The device needed to be placed very close to the main Powerball in the Grand Barracks. It would make the power fail. When the main power failed, all alien bases on Earth would lose power too. All their bases were connected? Jiwoo asked. Yes, Taeho said. The aliens used something called quantum linking. Their machines in one place were connected to machines in all places. It was very smart but also dangerous for them. Colonel Park called a meeting in the mountain base. Taeho was there. So was Yoongi, who gathered information from workers inside alien bases. And so was Hyun, who had finally escaped the work camp by hiding in a trash truck. Hyun looked tired and thin, Taeho remembered. But her eyes were full of fire. She believed her device would work. Their noodles came. They ate while Taeho thought about that important meeting so many years ago. He could still see the faces of the people there. Most of them were gone now. Colonel Park spread maps on the table. Taeho continued after finishing his food. These were maps of the Grand Barracks that Jinwoo had stolen. We needed to find the best way to the power core. Hyun pointed to a round room in the center of the map. The Powerball is here, she said. It is guarded all the time. There are machines that check for weapons, and there are doors that only open for aliens. Yoongi had good news. Jinwoo found a way in through the waste pipes, he said. The aliens do not guard them well, and he has passes that will let humans move in some parts of the base. Colonel Park looked at all the information. We need a small team, he said, 6 people at most. They must get in, place the device, and get out. How long would we have after putting the device near the Powerball? Taeho asked Ha-eun. She thought for a moment. About 90 seconds before the first problems start. Then 3 minutes before. All power fails. Everyone was quiet. That was not much time to escape a huge alien base. Will it hurt humans too? Someone asked. No, Ha-eun said. The device only affects the alien quantum energy. Our machines will still work. Colonel Park looked at Taeho. Your team has the best record for getting in and out of alien places. Taeho knew what that meant. He and his team would be the ones to go. It would be very dangerous. Maybe none of them would come back. If it works, Taeho asked, what happens to the aliens? Their shields will fail, Ha-eun said. Their guns will stop working. Their ships will fall from the sky. They will be just like us, but on our world. Taeho and Jiwoo left the food shop and walked to a small park. There was a statue there of Ha-eun Lee. She stood tall, holding her small device that changed the world. She was very brave, Jiwoo said, looking at the statue. Yes, Taeho agreed. She risked her life every day to learn the alien secrets. The next morning after the meeting, Taeho met with his team. He told them what they needed to do. He said it would be very dangerous. He said some of them might not come back. I need 5 people to come with me, he said. You can say no. No one will think less of you. Minho stepped forward first. I will go, he said. He was tall and could speak some alien words he had learned while working in their kitchens. Do-yoon was next. I will go. He was very strong and could carry heavy things if needed. Then came Jae-hwa. I will go. She could fix things and knew how to open locked doors. Hyun-ki raised his hand. I will go. He was the best shot in the resistance with both human and alien guns. Finally, Sumin stood up. I will go. She knew the most about alien machines after Ha-eun. 6 of us, Taeho said. That is enough. They began to train. Every day they studied the maps. They practiced moving quietly. They learned to use the alien passes. Ha-eun taught Sumin how to set up the device. Jinwoo brought more information from inside the base. He told them when guards changed. He found the best time to enter. He said which areas had the most aliens and which had the least. After 1 month, they were ready. The date was set for June 17th. The night before the mission, Taeho could not sleep. He sat outside looking at the stars. Colonel Park came and sat with him. Are you afraid? Park asked. Yes, Taeho said, but not of dying. I am afraid of failing. Park put his hand on Taeho's shoulder. If anyone can do this, it is you and your team. As the sun rose on June 17th, the 6 members of the team put on worker clothes like the ones Jinwoo had given them. They hid Ha-Yoon's device in a food box. They carried small alien guns taken from dead guards months before. Ready? Taeho asked his team. They all nodded. It was time to change the world. What happened next? Jiwoo asked. As they left the park, Taeho smiled. That is the story for tomorrow, how we got inside the alien base. The next day was rainy. Taeho and Jiwoo sat inside their home watching water run down the windows. It was a good day for stories. Tell me how you got inside the alien base, Grandpa, Jiwoo said, bringing him a cup of hot tea. Taeho took a sip and nodded. We left before the sun came up on June 17th. All 6 of us wore worker clothes like Jinwoo gave us. We carried small bags with food and tools. The team walked for 3 hours through old tunnels under the city. These tunnels were built long before the aliens came. The aliens did not know about all of them. We came up near the edge of the Grand Barracks, Taeho said. We could see the big black walls. They were as tall as 10 men standing on each other's shoulders. Jinwoo was waiting for them behind an old building. He looked nervous. The waste pipes are checked less today, Jinwoo told them. Most guards are at the east side for a big ship landing. This was good news. Jinwoo led them to a place where a big pipe came out of the base wall. Bad-smelling water dripped from it. The pipe was wide enough for a person to crawl through. This goes to the cleaning rooms, Jinwoo said. Not many aliens work there. Mostly human workers. Taeho looked at his team. Ready? They all nodded. Minho went first, then Do-yoon, Jae-hwa, Hyun-ki, and Soo-min. Taeho went last. Jinwoo stood watch outside. The pipe was dark and wet, Taeho told Jiwoo. We had to crawl on our hands and knees. It smelled very bad. They crawled for what seemed like a long time. Then Minho, who was in front, stopped. There was a metal grate blocking the way. Jae-hwa moved up to help. She had tools to open it. Be very quiet, Taeho whispered. Sound carries in pipes. Jae-hwa worked on the grate. Her fingers moved fast with her small tools. After a few minutes, the grate came loose. Minho pushed. It opened slowly. They came out in a small room with big tanks and pipes. No one was there. Water dripped from the ceiling. The air was warm and damp. We are in the waste cleaning area, Minho said. We need to go up 3 levels to reach the main halls. Soo-min checked a small screen Jinwoo had given her. It showed a simple map of the base. This way, she pointed to a door. They put on their worker passes. These small cards hung around their necks. They would let them move in some parts of the base without questions from guards. Remember, Taeho said, walk like you belong here. Do not run. Do not look nervous. They opened the door and walked into a hallway. It was much cleaner than the waste room. The walls were smooth gray metal. Lights ran along the ceiling. They saw other human workers. No one looked at them twice. They were just 6 more workers in a base with thousands. We walked for 10 minutes, Taeho told Jiwoo. We went upstairs and through more halls. We passed 3 alien guards. They did not stop us. The plan was working. They reached a main hallway that led toward the center of the base. More aliens were here. The tall, 4-armed creatures walked fast, not looking at the humans. Then they heard a loud voice behind them. You 6, stop. They turned. An alien supervisor stood there. It was taller than the others. It wore a red band on its upper arm. Where are you going? It asked in the strange clicking language of the aliens. Minho stepped forward. He was the only one who could speak some alien words. Cleaning work, Minho said. Level 5. The alien looked at their passes. These are not for level 5. Its eyes narrowed. Show me your work orders. They had no work orders. The alien reached for a device on its belt. It was going to call for more guards. Jinwoo appeared at the end of the hall. He ran toward them, waving his arms and shouting. Emergency. In food storage. All workers needed. The alien turned to look at Jinwoo. Do-yoon moved fast. He pulled out a small weapon and pressed it against the alien's side. There was a soft buzz. The alien fell to the floor. Jinwoo was not supposed to. Come in with us, Taeho explained to Jiwoo. But he saved us. He knew the alien would call for help. They dragged the stunned alien into a side room. Jinwoo said, "More will come soon. They will know something is wrong when this one does not report in." "Go back," Taeho told Jinwoo. "You have done enough." Jinwoo shook his head. "I will make a distraction on the other side of the base. It will give you more time." Before Taeho could argue, Jinwoo ran off. They never saw him again. "What happened to him?" Jiwoo asked. Taeho's face was sad. "He set off alarms in another area. Many guards went there. Later we learned he was caught and killed. He gave his life so we could keep going. The team had to move faster now. They took a service lift down to level 3. From there they needed to reach the central core where the Powerball was kept. Warning: unauthorized humans in Section 7. The base computer voice rang out. All security to Section 7. That is Jinwoo's distraction, Sumin said. We need to hurry. They ran through more hallways. They were getting closer to the center. The halls were wider here, the doors were bigger. More aliens moved around. Hide! Taeho pulled his team into a side room as a group of armed aliens ran past. The room they entered had screens showing different parts of the base. One screen showed a part of the base on fire. Alarms were sounding everywhere now. Jinwoo must have set a big fire, Hyun-ki said. Sumin looked at the other screens. Look, she pointed. That is the core room, the Powerball. They could see a large round room. In the middle was a floating blue ball of light. It was the power core. Alien workers moved around it, checking machines. 2 more levels down, Sumin said. But the lifts will be watched now. Jaehwa pointed to another screen. There. That shaft is for moving air. It goes down to the core level. The air shaft was on the other side of the current floor. They would have to cross a busy area to reach it. We will split up, Taeho decided. 3 and 3. Less noticeable. Taeho, Sumin, and Minho went first. They walked with heads down like normal workers. They reached the room with the air shaft without problems. Dooyoon, Jaehwa, and Hyun-ki started across a few minutes later. They were halfway when more alarms sounded. All workers returned to quarters, security check in progress, the computer voice announced. Aliens began stopping all humans and checking their passes. Dooyoon's group was caught in the open. Run! Dooyoon shouted. They ran for the airshaft room. Aliens saw them running. They called for security. Shots of bright light flew through the air as aliens fired their weapons. Dooyoon, Jaehwa, and Hyun-ki reached the room. Hyun-ki was hit in the arm by a light shot. It burned his skin, but he could still move. Close the door, Taeho ordered. Jaehwa sealed the door shut. This will not hold them long. Taeho looked at the airshaft. It was a square tunnel going down into the floor. A ladder on one side led down. Sumin and I will go down with the device, Taeho said. The rest of you hold this position. No, Dooyoon said. You will need help at the bottom. I will come too. Before they could decide, the door began to melt. Aliens were cutting through. Hyun-ki raised his weapon. Go, all of you. I will hold them here. We cannot leave you, Jaehwa said. Someone must buy time, Hyun-ki replied. I am already hurt. I will slow you down. The door was almost cut through. Now, they could hear aliens on the other side. Thank you, my friend, Taeho said to Hyun-ki. Taeho, Sumin, Minho, Dooyoon, and Jaehwa climbed into the air shaft. As they went down the ladder, they heard the door break open. They heard Hyun-ki's weapon fire many times. Then they heard him scream. He died fighting, Taeho told Jiwoo. He gave us the time we needed. At the bottom of the air shaft, they found themselves in a maintenance area. They were 1 level above the core room. 1 more to go, Taeho said. What happened next, Grandpa? Jiwoo asked, her eyes wide. Taeho finished his tea. That is for tomorrow's story, when we reached the Powerball. The next morning was bright and sunny. Taeho and Jiwoo sat in the garden behind their house. Birds sang in the trees. It was hard to believe that aliens had once ruled this land. "Tell me what happened when you got to the Powerball, Grandpa," Jiwoo said, eager to hear more of the story. Taeho nodded. "We were in the maintenance area one level above the core room. We could feel the Powerball even through the floor. It made the air buzz like bees. Alarms were still ringing through the base." Jinwoo's distraction and Hyunki's fight had caused much confusion, but the aliens would find them soon. "We need to get down to the core level," Taeho said to his team. "Soo-min, check the map." Soo-min looked at her screen. "There is a maintenance shaft in the next room. It goes right down to the core level." They moved carefully to the next room. Inside they found the shaft. It was a round hole with a ladder going down. Blue light came up from below. "I will go first," Do-yoon said. "Then Soo-min with the device. The rest of you follow." Do-yoon went down the ladder. After a minute they heard him call up, "Clear, come down." Soo-min went next, carrying Ha-yoon's device in her bag. Then Minho and Jae-hwa. Taeho came last, looking back to make sure no aliens followed them. They came out in a small room with machines humming all around. The walls glowed with blue light. "We are close to the core," Soo-min whispered. "It is just through that door." The door was big and made of thick metal. A small window showed the room beyond. They could see the Powerball floating in the center of a large round room. It was bigger than Taeho had imagined, like a small sun glowing blue. "There are 6 aliens in there," Minho said, looking through the window. "And machines that will spot us as soon as we enter." "We need a new plan," Taeho said. Jae-hwa looked at the machines around them. "These control the air in the core room. The Powerball makes a lot of heat. They need cool air all the time." "Can we use that?" Taeho asked. Jae-hwa nodded. "If we change the air settings, it might make them leave the room to check." She began working on one of the machines. After a few minutes, she smiled. "Done. The air will get very hot in there soon." They waited. Through the window, they saw the aliens looking at their screens. They seemed worried. One of them pointed at a vent. Then another pointed at the door. "They are coming to check the air system," Minho whispered. "Hide," Taeho ordered. They moved behind large machines. The door opened. 4 aliens came out talking in their clicking language. They went to the machines Jae-hwa had changed. "Now," Taeho said. 2 aliens left. Inside, they moved fast. Do-yoon and Minho went first, guns ready. Taeho, Soo-min, and Jae-hwa followed. They slipped through the door before it closed. The core room was huge. The ceiling was very high. The blue Powerball floated in the middle, held by glowing beams of light. It was beautiful and scary at the same time. The 2 aliens saw them and reached for their weapons. Minho fired first. His light gun hit one alien in the chest. It fell down. Do-yoon jumped at the other alien, knocking it to the floor. "Quick," Taeho said to Soo-min. "Place the device." Soo-min ran toward the control panel nearest to the Powerball. She opened her bag to take out Ha-eun's device. The alien fighting with Do-yoon was strong. It pushed him away and reached for an alarm button on the wall. "No!" Jae-hwa shouted. She fired her gun. The shot missed. The alien pressed the alarm. Red lights began flashing. A loud voice came from speakers. "Warning. Unauthorized entry to core room. Security teams respond." "We have minutes before more aliens come," Taeho said. "Hurry." Minho and Jae-hwa guarded the door. Do-yoon got up and joined them. The alien he fought was dead now. Soo-min placed Ha-yoon's device on the control panel. It was a small metal box with wires and a screen. She pressed buttons to start it. "How long?" Taeho asked. 90 seconds until it affects the Powerball," Soo-min said. "Then 3 minutes until full shutdown." Taeho heard noises outside the door. "They are coming. We need to leave." They looked around for another way out. There was a small door on the far side of the room. "There," Taeho pointed. "That might lead to a service area." They ran to the small door. Jae-hwa tried to open it. "Locked," she said. Behind them, the main door began to open. Aliens were cutting through. "Stand back," Do-yoon said. He shot the lock with his gun. The door clicked open. Go, Tae-ho ordered. Soo-min first with the map. Soo-min went through the door. Tae-ho followed. They found themselves in a narrow passage that led away from the core room. Min-ho, Jae-hwa, Do-yoon. Come on, Tae-ho called back. Min-ho and Jae-hwa ran through the door. Do-yoon stayed by the main door, firing his gun at the aliens trying to enter. Do-yoon now, Tae-ho shouted. Too late, Do-yoon called back. They are coming through. Someone needs to hold them off. He looked at Tae-ho. Go. Get out. Tell our story. Before Tae-ho could argue, Do-yoon pushed a button that closed the small door. Tae-ho heard him firing his gun on the other side. We cannot leave him, Jae-hwa said. He made his choice, Tae-ho said, though his heart was heavy. We have less than 4 minutes to get out. They ran down the passage. Soo-min checked her map. This leads to a cooling system. From there we can reach an exit vent. Behind them, they heard a loud boom. The walls shook. Do-yoon had used all his remaining weapons at once. He took many aliens with him, Min-ho said. The passage ended at a large room full of pipes and tanks. Cold air blew from vents in the ceiling. The exit is through there. Soo-min pointed to a large pipe opening. Suddenly the lights flickered. The power ball was starting to fail. It is working, Jae-hwa said. The whole base shook. They heard distant explosions. Machines around them made strange noises. 2 minutes left. Soo-min checked her timer. We need to hurry. They climbed into the large pipe. It sloped upward. They had to crawl on hands and knees. After a minute of crawling, they felt the base shake again. Harder this time. The power ball is failing faster than we thought, Soo-min said. They reached a place where the pipe split in 2 directions. Which way? Tae-ho asked. Soo-min checked her map. Left goes to the outer wall. Right goes deeper into the base. Left, Tae-ho ordered. They turned left and kept crawling. The pipe began to shake violently. Pieces of metal fell from the sides. The base is coming apart, Min-ho shouted. They crawled faster. Ahead, they could see light. The pipe ended at a grate on the outer wall of the base. They were almost out. Jae-hwa reached the grate first. She tried to push it open, but it was stuck. Let me. Min-ho moved up. He kicked at the grate with both feet. It broke loose and fell outside. Fresh air rushed in. They could see the ground below, about 10 meters down. Jump, Tae-ho said. The base is going to collapse. Min-ho went first, then Jae-hwa. As Soo-min moved to the opening, a huge explosion rocked the base. The pipe broke behind them. Tae-ho fell and hit his head. When he woke up, he was hanging. Half out of the pipe, Soo-min was holding his arm, stopping him from falling. Jump, she said. I am right behind you. Tae-ho looked at her. There was blood on her face. The pipe was breaking where she sat. Together, he said. Soo-min shook her head. The pipe will not hold us both moving at once. Go first. I will not leave you, Tae-ho said. Someone must tell our story, Soo-min replied. She pushed him out of the pipe. Tae-ho fell through the air. He hit the ground hard but was not badly hurt. He looked up. The pipe was breaking away from the wall. Jump, he called to Soo-min. Before she could move, the pipe broke free. Soo-min fell with it as the wall of the base collapsed. What happened to her? Ji-woo asked, her eyes wide. Tae-ho was quiet for a moment. That is the story for tomorrow, the final part of our tale. On the last day of their story week, Tae-ho took Ji-woo to the memorial garden. This large park was built where the Grand Barracks once stood. In the middle was a tall stone with names carved on it. The names of all who died helping to free Earth. This is where I landed when I fell from the pipe, Tae-ho said, pointing to a spot near a small tree. I was lucky. The ground was soft from rain. Ji-woo looked up at her grandfather. What happened to Soo-min? Did she die when the pipe fell? Tae-ho touched a name on the stone. Soo-min Lee. Yes, he said quietly. The wall fell on her. I tried to dig her out, but there was too much broken stone. He remembered that awful moment. Clearly, The loud crash as the wall came down, the dust filling the air, his hands bleeding as he tried to move heavy pieces of the alien building. But she gave me something first, Tejo said. He took a small metal tube from his pocket. He always carried it. She recorded a message for her family before we went into the base. Everyone on the team did. She gave it to me just before she pushed me out of the pipe. As Tejo stood watching the base collapse, he heard a deep rumble from beneath the ground. Then a bright blue light shot up into the sky. The power ball was breaking down, he told Jiwoo. It made a blue light that went up into space. Then came a sound like thunder, but 100 times louder. The grand barracks fell in on itself. The tall buildings dropped into a big hole in the ground. Dust filled the air so Tejo could not see. The earth shook like in an earthquake. When the dust cleared a bit, Tejo saw Minho and HFY nearby. They were hurt but alive. They helped each other walk away from the fallen base. We need to find shelter, Tejo told them. The aliens will look for us. They hid in an old building 2 kilometers away. From there, they watched something amazing happen. All across the sky, alien ships began to fall, Tejo said, looking up as if he could still see it. Their machines stopped working when the Powerball died. Big ships crashed to the ground, small ships dropped like stones. Jiwoo's eyes were wide. Were all the aliens killed? Tejo shook his head. No, many lived. But without their special weapons and shields, they were not so strong anymore. That night, Minho found a working radio. They sent a message to Colonel Park. The Powerball is gone. The aliens are weak now. The plan worked. All across Earth, people who had been waiting for this moment began to fight back. They attacked alien bases with simple weapons. The aliens tried to fight, but without their power, they were not ready. Colonel Park had been planning for this day for years, Tejo explained. He had people ready in every city. They had hidden guns and bombs and waited for the signal. The next morning, Tejo, Minho, and HFY saw humans taking over nearby buildings that aliens had used. The aliens were running away or giving up. We won that day, Tejo said. But the war was not over. Some aliens still had working guns. Some had small power sources that were not connected to the main Powerball. They fought hard to keep control of Earth. For 3 years we fought them, Tejo said. Every day, every night. Slowly we pushed them back. Colonel Park led the new human army. Hyun made new weapons based on alien technology she had studied. Every month humans took back more land. The hardest fighting was in the north, Tejo told Jiwoo. The aliens built their last base in the cold lands of Canada. They thought the cold would stop us, but humans can live in cold too. After 3 years of fighting, the last alien base fell. The remaining aliens got onto their last working ships and left Earth. They flew away into space and never came back. Did we learn things from the aliens? Jiwoo asked. Yes. Tejo nodded. Hyun and other smart people studied the alien machines. We learned how to make better computers and faster ships. We learned how to use the sun for power better than before. But humans learned something more important too. Before the aliens came, Earth had many countries that often fought each other. After working together to beat the aliens, humans decided to stay together. We made one government for all Earth, Tejo explained. Colonel Park helped lead it for 10 years. We still have different places with different ways, but we work together on big things now. They built the defense rings that now circle Earth. These rings have big guns that can shoot down any ships that try to attack. They also built fast ships that patrol around the moon. The aliens might come back someday, Tejo said. But we will be ready. We are stronger now. Jiwoo touched some of the names on the stone. So many people died. Yes, Tejo agreed. Your Aunt Sumin, my friends Do-yoon, Hyun-ki, and Minho. Minho. But you said he got out with you. Tejo nodded sadly. He did. But he died in the fighting after. 2 years later, HFY is still alive. She lives in the new city by the sea. They walked through the garden where flowers now grew. It was hard to believe that alien buildings once stood here, that so much death and fear had filled this place. Was it worth it, Grandpa? Jiwoo asked. All the people who died? Tejo thought about this question. He had asked himself the same thing many times. They gave their lives so others could be free, he said finally. They knew what they were doing. They chose to help even knowing they might die. He thought of Jin Woo making his last brave run to distract the aliens, of Hyun Ki holding the area, to give them time, of Duyun staying behind in the core room, of Sumin pushing him to safety. I miss them every day, he said, but I know they would make the same choice again. They did not die for nothing. They died for everyone. Ji-woo took her grandfather's hand. I wish I could have known Aunt Sumin. She would have liked you. Taeho smiled. She was smart and brave like you. They sat on a bench and watched the sun begin to set. Above them, the first stars appeared. Somewhere out there, the aliens were still traveling through space. Maybe they told stories about the humans who beat them. Maybe they were afraid of Earth now. Will you tell me more stories about the war tomorrow? Ji-woo asked. Taeho nodded. Yes, there are many more stories to tell. About Colonel Park and his plans. About Ha-eun and her clever ideas. About the battles we fought after the Grand Barracks fell. Ji-woo looked up at the sky. Do you think there are other aliens out there? Good ones, maybe? Perhaps, Taeho said. The universe is very big. There must be many kinds of people on many worlds. If they come here, will we fight them too? Taeho shook his head. Not if they come as friends. We would welcome friends from the stars. The sun was almost gone now. The lights of the city began to turn on. It was a beautiful sight. A human city, built by free people. That is the end of the story, Taeho said. How 6 ordinary people changed the world. But it is not the end of our story. Humans are still writing that story every day. They walked home through the peaceful streets. Taeho thought about his friends who did not live to see this day. They would be happy, he thought, to know their sacrifice brought this better world. And, in the darkening sky above, the defense rings began their nightly glow, watching over the free people.